Hello there, you're watching the Sterling Broadcasting Corporation SLBC. Welcome to News Hour. I am Adam Asila. Top stories in this edition of the news. The 59th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African State ECOWAS ends in Accra. The Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Bundu, asked for more engagement on the Cyber Security and Crime Deal 2021. And we bring you reports from various schools across the country as pupils commence this year's Basic Education Certificate Examination (BECE). With all those stories and more lined up in this edition of the news, but as always, we start first with our Corona preventive message. And from that Corona preventive message, we now go for the news in detail. The 59th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Government of the Economic Community of West African State ECOWAS has ended over the weekend in Accra, Ghana, under the chairmanship of President Akufo-Addo. The Ordinary Session was conducted with a communique that highlights pertinent issues affecting the sub-region as a whole. Our Masiri reports.
The communique states that heads of state and government takes note of the 2021 interim report of the President of the ECOWAS Commission, as well as the reports of the 46th Ordinary Meeting of ECOWAS Mediation and Security Council and the 86th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Council of Ministers. They commended the quality of the reports and the relevant recommendations contained therein, reaffirming their commitment to deepening the integration process in the West African sub-region. The authority takes note of the COVID-19 situation in the region, which reveals a stabilization of the situation resulting from efforts deployed by member states and WAHU, and also looking at the vaccination process in all member countries with vaccines provided by COVAX initiative, and salutes the recent decision of the G7 to provide additional vaccine to developing countries. The authority encourages the West African Health Organization to intensify its efforts regarding the mobilization of partnership for the production of anti-COVID, the need to introduce biometric passports in the region. The authority reaffirms its commitment to the promotion of peace, security and stability in the region as prerequisite for the economic reintegration and developments in West Africa. President Julius Maada Bio explains that the region faces a myriad of security threats underpinned by political crisis, religious and communal tension, growing insurgency, banditry, cyber crimes and transitional and other organized crimes. He said all must come on deck to closely attend to the security situation in the community and should do more, not less, to tackle persistent insecurity. He thanked the government of Nigeria and Ghana for their contributions to the terrorism fund. Sierra Leone, he stated, will also continue to support preventive diplomacy mechanisms discussed during the 46th Ordinary Session of the ECOWAS Mediation Council at the ministerial level in Accra. President Bio said that his country also notes the strengthening of women on peace and security issues to give women more vital voices on the said topic. Leader of Coalition for Change, C4CIS, Honorable Sir Emerson Lamina, commended President Bio for his government's quick response in the fight against COVID-19 that has put the country on the top of the agenda in the sub-region. Honorable Sir Emerson Lamina.
By all member states and the concern of this third wave now ravaging countries It has destabilized economies that used to be stronger within the sub-Saharan. And all of the states, our president is essentially president, Lieutenant Brigadier emphasized it, and the modalities and protocols that he's willing to put in place. One admirable thing that also came from our president was his approach and attack to attack COVID even before coming to Sierra Leone. Those strong modalities that helped Sierra Leone greatly. Today, we cannot compare the ravage of COVID in the West and another African country to that of ours. To the issue of putting protocols, modalities in place by all member states to combat and call out COVID-19 came out strong.
The heads of state and government expressed sincere appreciation to the President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, who is chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, for his leadership in steering the affairs of the community. SABC TV News are in Freetown. Hawa Mosiwe reporting.
The Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Bundu, has asked the Minister of Information and Communications to engage more with advisors in certain terms in the Cyber Security and Crime Bill 2021. The request was made after lawmakers spent lengthy hours making input into the bill and raising concerns about clarifications on certain terms in the said bill. Joseph Ture was in Parliament and now reports.
Page by page, lawmakers during the committee stage scrutinized key terms and definitions in various clauses in the bill. Terms like crimes, identity theft, extradition, computer systems and programs, tenure and qualifications of office of certain officials, among other issues, were deliberated on.
You're going to stand the test of time. People are going to come to Australia to use it. You start the prosecution, whether local, international, for the laws you have. You understand? So what I say, there's no way you see bulk message. You see bulk message. In the IT world, you use bulk.
And must also be used language.
Exactly, the jargon. With standards. You have to use the appropriate jargon for the appropriate message.
May I move at the definition of spamming be modified to be means a deliberate abuse.
Let me second that.
The bill, which has been described as crucial and technical, would suggest it being given such critical look before it is passed into law. This latest development prompted the Speaker of Parliament to ask the Minister of Information and Communications to engage more with his advisers in order to ensure clarity on certain terms and definitions. The Minister welcomed the entire process so far, noting that due diligence should be given to it.
I'm very pleased with the pace. This requires all the diligence we can afford. It requires all the rigorous scrutiny that we can afford. It requires all the commitment and dedication that Parliament has shown thus far into it. This is not in the nature of other bills. This is a technology bill. For the very first time, Sierra Leone is aspiring to doing what the rest of the world has done. Ghana did this around 2017, 2018. Nigeria did in 2015. So it's a fairly new kind of legislation. And the good news is Sierra Leone is benefiting from their experience. We are learning from their experiences, so we'll have a better bill by the time it's eventually enacted.
After the committee stage, the bill will be passed into law, making the country, among others in the sub-region, to have such law that will combat issues surrounding cybersecurity. It was introduced in the House recently, but concerns were raised about the bill's popularity among citizens. This prompted the Ministry of Information and Communications to engage various players like the IMC, Sierra Leone Bar Association, and SLAG, among others. SABC, Joseph Ture reporting.
Pupils in Sierra Leone have commenced the Basic Education Certificate examination Monday, the 21st of June. The examination comes in the wake of the third wave of the coronavirus. Beke marks the transition from junior to senior secondary school in Sierra Leone. To gauge the mood on the first day, SLBC's reporters have been to various schools within and outside of Freetown. We're going to start with a report from the Freetown Secondary School for Girls and St. Joseph Secondary School, where our reporter Julian Kuruma spoke to examination supervisors.
At exactly 10 a.m., the bell rang at Freetown Secondary School for Girls. The Becker candidates were ready for the exams. The supervisor went for a stroll in the classrooms.
I am with Miss Rachel Parker, and she is the supervisor for the school. So, madam, how is it going right now in the school?
Well, the exams have started, and the pupils were here in time. They've settled down. We've started the first paper, English language. I have 410 candidates in this center, using 11 classes, 40 in each of these classes.
So, were there enough question papers and answer booklet for the children to take their exams and to spare, of course, because I understand that children will be needing extra booklet when once their first one get filled?
No, we have enough booklets and the question papers are enough, and we have even some remaining. At least this center is okay for now.
Few meters away from the Freetown Secondary School for Girls, another batch of students were hard at work at the St. Joseph Secondary School. Joseph Carter, the supervisor at the school, explained the atmosphere before the exams.
Well, as you can see, it is critical now. All the pupils are in their classes, and the exam happens 10 o'clock, and they are doing their work.
So, were there enough to spare supplementary papers to make sure that the children do not have to wait for papers to be brought for them?
Well, clearly, we only had one pupil, but the co-supervisor, Mrs. Masaka, went over FSSG and got the one paper, and everything is okay now.
So presently, how many schools are taking exams in this center?
We have St. Joseph Convent School. We also have Dr. June Oslones. We have Standard International. We have Excel. And yes, I think those are the schools that are taking the exams.
So there you have it. The Becker examination is going smoothly here, and there is no cause to complain. Reporting for SLBC News are Julian Kuruma.
Meanwhile, the SLBC's Aminata Kante visited the National Pentecostal and Government Model Secondary Schools.
At the Government Model Secondary School, 853 pupils gathered to write the Basic Education Certificate examination. According to Madam Antoinette Holton, who is the Center Supervisor, Government Model Secondary School, 4 other secondary schools are taking the exams at the center. Madam Antoinette Holton confirmed that examination materials arrived on time for the candidates.
We have 853 candidates, and we are okay. We distributed to everybody, and we have already started the exams right on time.
At the National Pentecostal Secondary School, there were 2 schools with 778 pupils. According to Augusta Davis, the Chief Supervisor for the National Pentecostal Secondary School, candidates arrived late and some were absent for the language arts paper.
It's okay. And the 10 o'clock, the starting time is 10 is not bad. And then we are supposed to collect, and we were told to be collecting the question papers at least in the morning, for the morning. We are asked not to go there before 8. So for this year, there's not much problem because last year we were confused. Some of us were there at 6. We had to, at the WAEC, we were there at 6. We had to wait till 8 and after before they started. But this time, I think it is betterly arranged so that we'll go there or 8 or after 8 and we were attended to, very quickly, there was not much waste of time.
Emmanuel Toure from National Watch for Examination Malpractice Western Area said that the presence of police and supervisors helped as there were no issues of examination malpractice. For SLBC News Hour, Aminata Conte reporting.
Now from Freetown, we're moving over to Kano District, where over 30,000 candidates are taking the examination amidst COVID-19 protocols. Dr. Kumara has been following the process and has the details.
The Anzaru Girls Secondary School in Tankor Chiefdom hosted 4 schools with 469 pupils. At the experimental secondary school, there were 701 candidates from different schools across the district. The center's supervisor, Johnny Maibo, told candidates to be focused and relaxed during the examination.
Feel free, the examination is for you people. Is that clear? Feel free to take your examination.
Meanwhile, Ramatullah Jallo, who was in charge of the Anzaru Girls Secondary School, admonished candidates about the rules governing the examination and the penalties candidates would face if found with foreign and unaccepted materials in the examination hall. There are about 60 monitors from the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education to the district. They encouraged candidates not to see them as threats, but rather as school authorities, enforcing the ministry's position in maintaining the zero examination malpractices and showcase the essence of quality education, which is the focus of the ministry. The regulations for the COVID-19 pandemic third wave were observed at different centers with hand-washing facility and wearing of face mask.
In Bold District, Suiba Samura spoke to the principal of Christ the King College Junior Secondary School, Michaela Michaels, and Inspector of Schools from the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Joseph Jr.
I am Mrs. Michaela B. Michaels, the principal, Christ the King College JSS. Well, we thank God it is going smoothly. For today, the starts, we don't have much challenges because all the materials are here and the PPEs are here. They are all seated. We are working within the time frame that is allocated to conduct the exam. So for today, so far, we don't have any major challenge. 3 schools, CKC, Abdul Nazar, and Faith Model Academy.
All right. So how many boys and girls? Besides me.
No, well, you know,
there are more boys than
girls. Abdul Nazar and
so what are the
Faith Model? They are
girls. Yes. Okay. So what are the preferences given to girls since this is a boys' school?
Well, there is no special preference. They are using the same classroom.
Okay.
Yes.
So do we have disabled?
No, we don't have any disabled candidates. Unfortunately, I registered 254 candidates. Last week we lost 1.
Okay.
Yes.
My name is Tasani Supriya, teacher at Christ the King College.
Okay, today the pupils are taking their first examination. How has it been like?
Well, it's very nice, and the exam is very credible. I conducted it, supervision is done, and all the stakeholders that are involved are doing their work effectively.
Okay, so what's the turnout of the pupils for this particular examination?
The turnout is very good. People are very happy taking the exam with no humiliation, nothing. They are very free taking their exams.
What are the challenges?
Very comfortable. The challenges for now is that the invigilation we made last year onto this moment we haven't got our stipend.
Okay.
So we are really talking to the people that are concerned that we should try to do that earlier.
Okay, so what are the preferences given to girls then, since this is a boys' school?
Yeah, I mean, for this exam, everything is almost the same. The girls, I mean, we are having some of the girls that are pregnant, but we allow them to take their exam.
I am Joseph Takawakari, the Inspector of Schools from the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. Generally, my take for this exam, for the center that I am monitoring, is physically calm, and the examination papers arrived in time since this morning. Children have taken language arts, and we started the language arts at exactly 10 o'clock, and we have been within the time limits. They are now on the agricultural sciences. We haven't experienced any hiccups as of now.
Okay, so how many schools are there have been in this center?
Basically, in this school, we have only pupils of Methodist High School.
Okay.
Only pupils of Methodist High School, with a total number of 906.
Okay.
With 17 classrooms.
So, are there disabled around?
There is one physically challenged.
Leon Stars have received checks for over 4 billion euros and site plans as incentives for defeating the Squares of Benin in an encounter in Conakry, Guinea. This qualifies the team to the AFCON 2022 competition in Cameroon. President Biyo offered the checks and site plans in honor of a promise he made to the players months ago. Maya Suma reports.
Sum total of 4,100 million for 41 players. 100 million per player.
The victory celebrations continue. Politicians, fans, players, including the First Lady, exhibits faces beam with smiles as they shake to tunes played by entertainers. This is not only a remarkable achievement in the history of football after 25 years, but it is also a political victory that will remain with Sierra Leoneans for years to come.
The old stars don't unite me once more. But I make me proud. Today, we go through some presentations as I belong from this land, because we are ambassadors of Sierra Leone.
For President Biyo, the victory is a political goal scored. He said he is proud and he is determined to uplift the team if the return will win of the tournament in Cameroon.
I want to assure the young stars, our dancers, for saying now that we don't qualify, we will do everything to make sure that we not get the technical backup on the need. We go out for and we will make sure say everywhere we get something we will make besides what you get for you now.
Leon Stars' victory appears to have united the country, standing as a nation for a national cause. The team braced up with that win, and the victory does not come as a surprise.
Today we celebrate. We celebrate, we heroes them, we players them, we ambassadors them for the glory when they bring back to this country. Of course, for far too long, we did not fight. Previous government did not fight. So let us carry on a national cup. But today, after 24 years, with your blessing and your support, sir, we ambassadors them, heroes them, they will deliver. They will give me victory for Carrigo Cameroon 2022.
First Lady joined his husband to celebrate the team. She said Coach John Keister and SLFA President Thomas Daddy Brima have done a fantastic job to push the boys to excellence. For SL SLBC News, Maria Masuma reporting.
A 3-day training in effective consultancy and research proposal writing has begun at Farabe College. The training is being led by the Innovation Hub, Farabe College, in collaboration with the Southern Institute of Engineers for Change Sierra Leone and Royal Academy of Engineering. Their services Victor Jones was there and our reports.
The training on consultancy and research proposal writing is an innovative gesture aimed at fostering entrepreneurship and idea-based research in the engineering and architectural fields.
The exercise is to help participants maximize the economic and social importance of their research. It will provide valuable information relating to suitable EU and UK funding opportunities. Now this is a senior opportunity. There are funds everywhere. Just a matter of getting the right documentation, the right proposal. And that's what this training is about.
The training is coming at a time when all sectors in the country are pushing to having an ICT-oriented system for effective delivery and management.
Actually, this is the culmination of a 3-year program led by the Sierra Leonean Institute of Engineers with partners from the UK such as Imperial College, one of the best universities in the world, the Sierra Leonean, the Engineers for Change Sierra Leone, and my company Innovation Action. And we have been working towards this moment by creating this hub and also trying to maybe engender an outward-looking commercial approach by the university.
Dr. Peter Ferron said if the University of Sierra Leone would like to improve and excel in engineering, it should work on gaining an international recognition through research, publications and consultancy with world-renowned institutions. This is a tabulated arrangement of how much international universities make in pure consultancy. Few engineers raised concern that the engineering field has a string of challenges ranging from insufficient research data and the unavailability of funds to run complex researches.
So hopefully the impact will be that we together can arrive at a way where the faculty, FBC, and the Department of Engineering and Architecture will be better able to compete for international funding, funds that are coming in, such as the Millennium, the MCC funding, and that really the faculty can present a unified approach to external bodies.
But a fresh wind of change will be blown in the field upon completion of refurbishment of the Innovation Hub building, which will be the leading research and consultancy laboratory in the country. SLBC, Victor Jones.
Inhabitants of Yokboro village, Kagboro Chiefdom in the Moyamba district have called on government and partners to help reconstruct the only primary school in their community. The school, built in the early 70s by the community people, presently has a population of over 300 pupils. Ibrahim Samura was in Yokboro village and now reports.
Built in 1972 by the community, the United Methodist Church School in Yobofo village is home to over 300 children of more than 15 catchment villages in the chiefdom. The edifice is an eyesore to modern-day learning, with holes in the roof and lacks furniture to make learning conducive for the children.
This is one classroom.
This is one of the classrooms in the open because there is not enough seating accommodation. Our major challenge is that enrollment in the school has increased and the UMC mission is not supporting the school. We are calling on NGOs and the government to please help us.
cry. Just as how una dey help we, una continue for help we, even the structure not get up.
The school is at present overcrowded, as it was initially built to house less than 100 children. With the introduction of the free quality education, the number has tripled. This school, which is under the supervision of the UMC mission, and according to Augustine Simbo, the head teacher, hardly receives support from the mission.
At times we take them outside under the tree. When the trains, they come to the Indians in the same class to cluster them. Within this community, we cannot cope with that. Because the pupils want to learn and there is no free space for them.
The school only has 4 teachers teaching class 1 to 6. 3 of the teachers are members of the community. The head teacher is the only twin and qualified teacher. The school is the only primary school in Yobofo village, and children have to walk for more than 4 miles to access the school. From Yobofo village to Moyamba township is over 40 miles and could be easily accessed by motorbikes due to the rough terrain of the road. Kagboro Chiefdom is one of the deprived chiefdoms in Moyamba districts, and according to community people, the chiefdom can only boast of 2 junior secondary schools. One at Shinge, which is 12 miles off Yobofo village, and one has to walk over 40 miles to access the other junior secondary school at Mokombiti. Ibrahim Samura, Freetown.
The Ministries of Water, Resources and Health, together with World Vision Sierra Leone, have inspected the ongoing water and sanitation project at the Macaulay Street and Ola during Children's Hospital rehabilitation work. The project, which is supported by World Vision, is meant to improve clean water supply in communities and major hospitals in the western area. The visit was meant to speed up construction and ensure proper work. Aruna Kumar with long in our reports.
The rehabilitation of the water and sanitation projects in the 2 hospitals is to improve access to hygiene to stop the spread of COVID-19 and other transmitted diseases in the country. The NDO coordinator, Ministry of Water Resources, Musa Sheikha, said they are pleased with World Vision's support in addressing wash problem and complementing government efforts in addressing wash challenge, especially in hospitals. The National Director of World Vision Sierra Leone, Sergeant Chow, said his office is always ready to support government in addressing water access challenge in major hospitals in the country. He called on all to abide with the COVID-19 preventive measures to prevent the spread of the virus in the country.
We cannot continue living with this pandemic. We have to find ways to stop it in order to return to normalcy, in order to rebuild the resilience. So it's our pleasure to come today with all of you to have this monitoring visit, hoping that soon, representative of the contractor, that soon will come to commission this work.
NGO DEX lead, Ministry of Health and Sanitation, Suleiman Foue, said their mandate is to improve healthcare system in the country and commended World Vision for being their reliable partner in supporting government projects.
We are going to see across the country all 16 government hospitals being refurbished, painted, water system and everything functioning in them. But we also had some other facilities that were left. And Macaulay Street is one of those hospitals. And World Vision came in again to support. So this is a laudable effort. See what they are doing. Rehabilitation of the internal and external structures. This is very good. This is the same thing is in line with what we are doing. As a ministry, we are painting. We are changing the external looks. As you can see, some of these hospitals have been here for 20, 30 years. Nothing has been done to the external structures and the internal structures. So we see World Vision coming in to do these things and to support the government. This is laudable.
Representatives from the Freetown City Council and the Ministry of Social Welfare also lauded World Vision for complementing government's effort in addressing water and sanitation problem in the capital. Auna Kama reports.
As a free and quality education provides more opportunity for school-going children in remote communities, the Seventh-day Adventist at Benghazi Settlement Committee in Koidu City, Kano District has commended the government during the annual Thanksgiving ceremony. From Kano District, Joshua Petikoy has the details.
The Thanksgiving ceremony started with a procession on major streets of Koidu City. The children were in a joyful mood to showcase the value of education with support from the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. Addressing the gathering, head teacher of the 7 Days Adventist Primary School at Benghazi, Koidu City, Anna Ali Kaloko, said that the Thanksgiving service was a yearly event to be grateful to God for taking the school's administration and pupils throughout the year. According to Madam Kaloko, he prepared 122 pupils who have recently sat to the National Primary School Examination (NPSC), and 25 will be graduating from nursery to class 1. She emphasized the value of the free quality education rolled out by the government, which has increased their enrollment and maintains the pupils' retention in school. Madam Kaloko highlighted the essence of education and called on the parents to send their children to school and be part of the human capital development, which is the focus of the government. She expressed gratitude to the stakeholders of Tankor Chiefdom for supporting every activity and development of the school. Preacher Pastor Tue admonished parents to bring up their children to have good moral attitude for them to become better people in the future and contribute to the society's development. He appreciated the government's strides in supporting the free and quality education program.
After stakeholders' engagement in Bo and Kenema on the nationwide clearing of Sierra Leone Road Authority right of way in the country, authorities in the road sector have agreed to start the clearing of SLRC rights of way, which the hope will come in soon. Well, Mohammed Suray sent in this report.
I feel heartfelt for our traders, because all along we the traders have occupied the right of way from the city council. We paid our dues, we paid our list rent to them, but we did not know anything about the road authority to come and ask us about any list rent or any right of way.
But we are not part of that. We don't bear hands in right of way, the land that belongs to SLRA.
The meeting was among the many engagements by the Sierra Leone Road Authority with key stakeholders and partners on activities of the authority to ascertain their views on the rights of way clearing that will commence soon in the country. Updating the people of Bo District, Director of Operations Sierra Leone Road Authority Alfred Momodu told road users in Bo that over 33-kilometer road projects will be undertaken in the district. The construction of 10 out of over 33 kilometers has started. During a PowerPoint presentation, Edmond Tommy said as an institution that has the mandate to protect all rights of way for road users, the road sector will strategically plan before clearing the rights of way, for which he said the team is doing public campaign to inform and encourage the people to leave the area. However, he said action will be taken against people who may refuse to act accordingly. Representative of the Paramount Chief of Bo District, Kakua Chiefdom, Morrison McCarthy, informed the team that traditional leaders have no hand in the rights of way, as the township is exposed to accidents and citizens have used the rights of way beyond expectations. In Kenema, Director of Assets Management Sierra Leone Roads Authority, Peter Kome, said the team is concerned with the massive encroachment of footpaths in the country, and this, he said, needs urgent action.
Why roadworks are slow is because we have citizens, traders, and other wrong people that are built into right-of-way or doing trade into right-of-way and preventing projects from going on. We can't keep waiting. And this is going to the benefit of contractors. Because when you give a contractor a piece of work to do, you pay them by the day for their machines. So when they come to work and traders or other citizens are blocking the road, they don't bother. They wait for government to clear it. If you don't clear, they charge us for every delay. They take more time and they make claims. And government is losing huge amounts of money. So we've been giving directives from new government through the minister, through our management to calm down, engage stakeholders, let all of us get on board.
What are the views of key stakeholders concerned in the right of way?
We are appealing to the stakeholders to give some time to our traders because of the rainy season and to look for another suitable place where we can do our businesses.
We are going on the rampage now to sensitize our people, educate them, advise them about the use of the right way, that these are reserved areas for government for future development.
The engagement is expected to continue in other districts before the commencement of the right of way clearing.
In an attempt to set the record straight in the promotion of peace and unity amongst poolers in the country, stakeholders of the Tabita Pulaku International Sierra Leone chapter have officially endorsed their executive and call on officers to work with the leadership. Emmanuel Samura has more.
This gathering of stakeholders of Tabita Pulaku International Sierra Leone chapter came as a result of the recent power struggle within the organization. The gathering gave members the opportunity to identify issues that have threatened to put a knife in the things that bind them together, and upon identifying the flaws, it gave them the opportunity to bridge the peace and endorsed Alhaji Jules Deso as the president of Tabita Pulaku International Sierra Leone chapter. President of Tabita Pulaku International Sierra Leone, Alhaji Jules Deso, said the organization has been engaged in different activities in ensuring fullers involve and participate in national issues. Alhaji Jules Deso promised to make the organization more beneficial to fullers and the country as a whole.
Within the next 1 year, as an international fuller organization, we will bring wealthy fullers from other parts of the world to invest in the country. And we will also ensure we make fullers in Sierra Leone benefit from whatever fullers in other parts of the world are benefiting from the organization.
He appealed to everyone to support the peace, continue the good job, and have respect for each other. Special assistance to the President on Strategic Planning, Alhaji Alpha Tanu Jallo, admonished members to see themselves as one, adding that the coming of such institution into the country is a blessing, bringing fullers all over the globe under one umbrella. Emmanuel Samura, SLBC Freetown.
Well, that's it. If you just tuned in, you're watching news coming to you live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, SLBC. It's now time for us to go for some news around the African continent. And now for news around the African continent. Polling stations opened in Ethiopia on Monday as Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's ruling Prosperity Party is widely expected to cement its hold on power. The party that wins a majority of seats in the House of the People's Representatives will form the next government, and close to 40 million people have registered to take part in the national and regional parliamentary elections. But in a fifth of the country's constituencies, Ethiopians won't be able to cast their vote as a result of insecurity and logistical issues. In 64 of them, the vote was pushed back to September 6th. But officials have yet to set a date for its constituencies. West African states said they will carry on monitoring events in Mali following a coup before lifting its suspension from a regional bloc. Bamako has announced a new civilian government and promised to adhere to a roadmap to elections early next year. After the coup in May led by Colonel Assimi Goïta, he had already led the coup last August with other army officials to host elected President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta after weeks of mass protests over corruption and a long-running jihadist conflict. The 15-nation Economic Committee of West African States, ECOWAS, has suspended Mali and imposed sanctions following the second push. And finally, for some news around the African continent, the authorities in Nigeria, northwestern Kebbi State, say 3 students have been killed in a crossfire between bandits and soldiers during an attempt to rescue the abducted students. Parents of the students have said more than 60 students and 8 teachers are still missing after government invaded the federal government college in Yori on Thursday last week. Residents said bodies of the 2 girls and a boy have been handed over to their parents. The boy was suspected to have had gunshot injuries, while the girls allegedly died of exhaustion and trauma. One of the girls was thought to be asthmatic. With that, it's for some news around the African continent. It's now time for us to go for some entertainment news. Hello and welcome to Entertainment News with me, Cynthia Kama. Former roommate of the Big Sister Empowerment reality show, who was to emerge as the first runner-up, Yaba Masaye, has fulfilled her promise to set up a football club, which is her dream. She has finally launched a football club called FC Yaba Yaps at the Kalum Field, Angola. We want to say congratulations to the CEO of FC Yaba Yaps, Yaba Masaye, and we're looking forward for speedy progress for the other roommates. And the international collaboration between Yoke 7 and Demako is already trending as their new song Wine and Twerk is on fire with over 11,000 views on YouTube. Let's check it out.
Wine and twerk, girl, wine and twerk. Girl, no worry, I put you on top. Wine and twerk, girl, wine and twerk. Baby girl, no worry, I can put you on top.
Watch girl a wine, watch girl a bubble up. Party a nice do say I'm a cop. No the squad, put money at the top of the bag. Girl not twerk, not the club, me a cut. Wine and twerk, baby, wine and twerk. Don't know if you call them and do a island search. I know me can't find a girl with wine like her. For real, say her the young, got finest girls. And if I break you, you want me, I go buy that first. Give me money, anything we go outside and splurge. Touch your toe, make it spine on work. Get them more pressure, stand on the diamonds. Wine your body and twerk. You make it that head hurt. Wine your body and twerk. Girl, you must hurry on my concert. Wine your body and twerk. You make it that head hurt. Wine your body and twerk. Girl, you must hurry on my concert.
Yo, calling the mark, we're building you a castle, putting you on top and treating you special. Good body, natural looks is so essential. Come on, baby girl, don't wait for spoiling.
The video is already trending on TikTok and other social media platforms. Let's all continue to support our fellow Sierra Leonean as we continue to break barriers. Well, that's all in this edition of Entertainment News. I am Cynthia Kama. Goodbye. My thanks to Cynthia Kumara for today's entertainment news. And from entertainment, we go over to sport. Let's see what's happening in the sporting world.
Hello and welcome to Sports Update. In this edition of the Sports News, Sierra Leone National Beach Volleyball men's and women's teams have both missed out in the Tokyo Olympic Games qualifiers due to lack of financial support from the government. The qualifiers are currently ongoing in Morocco. I spoke to the assistant captain of the men's beach volleyball team, Ishmael Bangura. These players have been training effectively for these ongoing Olympic qualifiers for the past month. The qualifiers is ongoing in Morocco with over 15 countries competing in the final qualification tournament for next month's Tokyo Olympic Games. In November 2019, the male quartet, Mohamed Kamara, John Kamara, Ishmael Bangura and Sonny Bangura qualified to this stage after a successive qualifier in the Gambia. The female team also had their qualifiers in Conakry, Guinea. Their withdrawal from the tournament has been viewed by the players as an unfortunate one.
It's very, very heart-rending, very, very painful, because seeing all the athletes from other countries going for the competition for the final phase of the Olympic qualification to the Tokyo Games later this year, I think it's very, very disheartening, very, very painful for me as a player. We have qualified Sierra Leone 2 consecutive times to the World Cup, to the World Championships. The last one was in Germany, Hamburg, but we couldn't go. We didn't know what happened. So just imagine all those things that are happening, things that are very discouraging, but despite whatever, we're still trying to push.
Recently, the country's senior national football team qualified to the African Cup of Nations tournament and were given huge support by the government. Bangura has called on the government to also prioritize other sporting disciplines that are doing well.
Government should look at other sporting disciplines, not only football. Football is not the only sport in the country. There are other sports that have brought laurels to this country more than football. So I think I just want to send a message to the government that football is not the only sport, that we are very discouraged and they are killing our dreams.
The competition, which begins on Monday, 21st June, will last about a week. The President of the Republic of Sierra Leone, Julius Maada Bio, has fulfilled his AFCON promise to the national team Leone Stars following their African Cup of Nations qualification to Cameroon 2022 in a presidential dinner organized by the First Lady Fatima Maada Bio at the Bintumani Conference Center, where 42 players and officials benefited from President Bio's AFCON promise. Abdul Kabir has the details.
The history of Sierra Leone football starts when the AFCON triumph came to pass following the 25 years long absence of Leone Stars in the continent's biggest showpiece. In a well-attended presidential dinner at the Bintumani Center, players and officials of Leone Stars were overwhelmed with joy as they dined and wined with the president and members of the football family. Speaking to the gathering, the newly elected president of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Thomas Daddy Brahima, thanked the president of Sierra Leone for the homage they paid to the national team and called on the players to utilize the fulfilled promise in every step of the way. Leone Stars head coach John Kista expressed huge delight for the honor given to his team and stressed the need to humbly support the national team to proudly fly the flag of Sierra Leone at the AFCON.
I just want to say a big thank you to the government of Sierra Leone for the support around the national team. I want to say thank you to NSA, the ministry, the SLFA, and to the people of Sierra Leone.
Kai Kamara, who scored the all-important goal, was deeply elated by the kind gesture of President Bio and noted that as players they remain committed to make Sierra Leone football great again.
It's very appreciable to know that we're celebrating football in Sierra Leone, and for me personally, again, I've been around Leone's national team for 12 years, so to finally come to this point and see the changes and see the achievement that we've gotten as a team, I am very, very proud of the rest of the guys. And the game in Guinea, again, it's just a cherry on the cake to take us to the Nations Cup.
The dinner was climaxed with the dishing out of land documents to 42 players who guided Sierra Leone to a remarkable AFCON milestone as a show of appreciation by the government. For SLBC Sports, Abdul Kabir.
That was a lucrative one. Congratulations to the beneficiaries. That's all we have time for in this edition of Sports Updates and News Hour. I am Esther Marie Samura. Many thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Many thanks to sports correspondent Esther Marie Samura for today's sporting update. Well, yes, that's it. That's all we have time for in this edition of News Hour right here at the SLBC. But as always, before we go, here is a recap of our top stories. The 59th Ordinary Session of the Authority of Heads of State and Governments of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has ended in Accra, Ghana. The Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Dr. Abbas Bundu, has asked the Minister of Information and Communications to engage more with his advisors on certain terms in the Cyber Security and Crime Bill 2021. The request was made after lawmakers spent hours making inputs into the bill. And pupils in Sierra Leone have commenced the Basic Education Certificate examination on Monday, the 21st of June. The examination comes in the wake of the third wave of the coronavirus. Beckham marks the transition from junior to senior secondary school in Sierra Leone. That's it, and that's how we draw down the curtains on today's news broadcast. Many thanks to you for joining me right here tonight. Till then, I've been your presenter, Adam Masila, saying tata. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You have a blessed and a pleasant week ahead, and keep watching the SLBC. Bye.